First thing first, I shot this sequence I think more than 10 times because I forgot to turn on my microphone. Second of all, I want to thank you guys for helping me out in the previous video, leaving down comments in the comment section down below, because you guys left a lot of tips, a lot of advice, and it really helped me to move forward and not be stuck where I was a couple of weeks ago. So I really thank you guys for that. So something else. In the beginning of October or somewhere in October, I found out that DJI would release a second drone, a second DJI Mavic Mini called the DJI Mavic Mini 2. And I read the first time that DJI would release a second DJI Mavic Mini. I was really hyped and stoked about it because DJI Mavic Mini, the original one, is a really amazing and impressive drone, and DJI making a second version of it only makes it better. So from the time I first read it to the release date, I was thinking about upgrading my DJI Mavic Mini to the DJI Mavic Mini 2, but throughout those weeks I was really thinking about the fact of, do I really need to upgrade my DJI Mavic Mini to the DJI Mavic Mini 2? So in this video, as you can see about the title, we are going to talk about, is it really necessary to upgrade your DJI Mavic Mini to the DJI Mavic Mini 2? To be quite upfront with you guys, if you watch this video right now and you don't own a drone, I highly recommend getting the DJI Mavic Mini 2, just because it has some amazing specs over the DJI Mavic Mini 1. The people who wanted that answer, here we go. But more for the people who own a DJI Mavic Mini, like I do, is it really necessary to upgrade the DJI Mavic Mini 2? Do we really need to upgrade, yes or no? Because wanting to upgrade is different from needing to upgrade. So let's talk about it. And before we do that, I just wanted to make a quick announcement with my drone. I dropped it out of my backpack when I was unpacking the drone, and I broke the glass of my lens on the DJI Mavic Mini, as you can see in the corner right here. So people, please make sure to not drop your drone when you are unpacking it. So what I told you guys earlier about the DJI Mavic Mini 2, what are actually the specs of the DJI Mavic Mini 2. So first thing first, the DJI Mavic Mini 2 can shoot 12 megapixels in photo mode. The lens equivalent to the DJI Mavic Mini 2 is the 35mm. The ISO range on the Mini 2 is 3200, both in manual and auto mode, and also the bitrate on the DJI Mavic Mini 2 is 100, which is a pretty high bitrate for a drone, or at least a drone of its size, so that's pretty amazing. So the DJI Mavic Mini has two new modes in quickshot mode, which is the panorama mode and the boomerang mode. The boomerang mode is basically what everybody's used to because everybody uses Instagram, so boomerang mode is just basically the drone flies away and comes back, which creates a boomerang when you play it back and forth. And the panorama mode is just basically shooting multiple pictures and sticking it to one to create one whole picture. So those two modes are really dope to have. To be quite honest, I don't use quickshot a lot on my DJI Mavic Mini, but just basically having the ability to make those types of shots is just amazing to have as a drone owner. So the last two things about the DJI Mavic Mini 2 is the resolution and the format. So let me start off with the resolution because everybody wants to talk about that. DJI Mavic Mini 2, a small drone like this one, a small drone like the original one, can shoot in 4K, 24 frames, 25 and 30 frames per second, which is amazing. My original DJI Mavic Mini shoots in 2.7K and I get a lot of beautiful shots with it, and I'm really happy with those shots because they look incredible. But just imagine the 4K you can shoot with the DJI Mavic Mini 2. It's just mind-boggling to me. And second of all, the format. And the format is just the most impressive feat for me. The 4K is nice, the 4K is incredible, but the DJI Mavic Mini 2 can shoot in JPEG but also in RAW format. So you can shoot your photos, your drone landscape photos, your drone city photos. The drone can shoot JPEG and RAW format. So imagine the DJI Mavic Mini 2 having RAW format that will contain a lot of detail in the shot. Is just amazing. So the last thing is the price of the DJI Mavic Mini 2. The price of the DJI Mavic Mini 2 is around $450, which is higher compared to the DJI Mavic Mini 1 when it came out. The DJI Mavic Mini Fly Combo Pack is around $500, so the price gap isn't that big when you compare those two drones when they came out. But the DJI Mavic Mini 2 is a little bit higher. That was fun. So, how good is the DJI Mavic Mini 2 if we compare it to his predecessor, which is the DJI Mavic Mini 1 or the original DJI Mavic Mini? For the people who aren't familiar with the DJI Mavic Mini 1, the original one, let me compare the two for you guys so you guys have a better idea how much better the DJI Mavic Mini 2 is versus the DJI Mavic Mini 1. DJI Mavic Mini 1 shoots in 2.7K resolution, or at least it can shoot in 2.7K resolution. The DJI Mavic Mini 2 can shoot in 4K resolution. The format for photos, DJI Mavic Mini 1 can shoot in RAW. It's not as good as the DJI Mavic Mini 2, which can shoot in JPEG and RAW. When we are talking about flight performance, the DJI Mavic Mini 2 blows out the Mini 1 out of the water because the Mini 2 can fly much faster in terms of acceleration. It's much faster in terms of ascending and descending of the drone, but it can also fly much further because the Mini 2 can fly up to 10 kilometers while the Mini 1 can only fly to 4 kilometers without interference, so without buildings and things like that. The Mini 2 in terms of flight capabilities blows the Mini 1 out of the water. I have to admit that. So the Mini 2 has a much higher bitrate compared to the DJI Mavic Mini 1. It's almost a 3 times difference. So that's quite a lot for a new drone. So props to the Mini 2. So the last thing, but certainly not least, the last thing I wanted to point out is the quick shot mode. In the quick shot mode we have two new shots they added in the DJI Mavic Mini 2, which are the panorama shot and the boomerang shot. I explained it earlier what those two are, but on the DJI Mavic Mini 1 it doesn't exist. I think a lot of people use the quick shot mode, so it's a really dope thing to have on the DJI Mavic Mini 2. And with that being said, guys, it's cold, so let's head home and finish up this video. Let's just put this up for a moment. Today we switch it up a little bit. I wasn't planning on shooting in the setup today actually, but it's just too cold outside, so I can't stay outside that long. But to conclude this video, what is my answer to this question? Does an owner of the DJI Mavic Mini has to upgrade to the DJI Mavic Mini 2? Is it that necessary to upgrade your drone? And to give you guys a short answer, my answer is no. You don't really need to upgrade to the DJI Mavic Mini 2 necessarily. I can understand why somebody wants to upgrade because it has 4K, it shoots JPEG and RAW, it's much faster in ascending and acceleration. The DJI Mavic Mini 2 overall is just a better drone compared to the DJI Mavic Mini 1, so I can understand why said person would sell his older DJI Mavic Mini to get the newer one. So the DJI Mavic Mini 1 and 2, those drones are made for people who are beginners and starters, and I don't necessarily think that somebody has to focus on the specs, because you can have the best specs on a drone, but if you can't fly a drone properly, drone shot itself wouldn't look good. So I believe that if you have a DJI Mavic Mini, you think about upgrading your DJI Mavic Mini to the DJI Mavic Mini 2, I would recommend trying to practice your drone flying. And if your skills are leveling up in your drone flying, you would see that your content look much differently, much better. So I don't necessarily think that you need a better drone to make better drone footage, but I think you need to practice your drone flying to get better drone footage. So with that being said, that was my opinion, that was my view on the matter, and let me know your view and your opinion in the comment section down below. Do you have a drone? If you don't have a drone, you should get a DJI Mavic Mini. And if you have a drone, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about it? Do you think you should upgrade to the DJI Mavic Mini 2? And last thing, but certainly not least, the new setup. I renovated the place a little bit. I'm not done yet. So let me know in the comment section down below also, what do you think about this and the fine print on the wall? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious about your opinion. And with that being said, guys, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave a comment down below. Make sure to like this video because I would really appreciate it. And make sure you subscribe and become part of the community where we talk about gear and videography, photography, and occasionally vlogs, because I want to vlog a little bit more, but I will do that more in 2021. So with that being said, guys, I see you guys in the next video.